Okay, folks, another TYT video. TYT video. I'm gonna break down, react to this. I'm gonna call this is how the TYT. How the TYT is talking the left again and saying stuff that sure some of the left are doing this, but the left they're doing this and that. They're talking to the other side. But on the left has been doing it long before them. Certain channels. See, they don't listen to they don't go to they only go to certain channels. Like some of these small young Gen Z channels. Millennial channels. And they don't go, they're like, they're more like a purity test. Some are not, but some are. And they're but these other channels like RBN, the working class channel, and they don't go into the culture wars. See, they stay away from those channels. But they paint the left as all like they seem like the left is all about culture wars. I mean, that's not the case. There have been people going on talking to the other side before these guys. These guys, see, the TYT used to be one of these channels that they'll just bash the right wing, so-called. But talking to the other side doesn't mean that you give up your values, your core values. That's another thing. That's what they don't realize that. That's what they're doing. They're giving up their core values. But let me play this.
And the right have a lot more in common than we're led to believe. And if that's true, it could and should have huge implications for the upcoming presidential election. So I went to Erie, Pennsylvania to find out.
That's right. A reporter with More Perfect Union visited a Trump rally in Erie, Pennsylvania to see if there's possibly any common ground among the MAGA crowd. Do progressives and Trump supporters share anything in common at all? Well, we're going to show you some examples based on the people that this reporter talked to. Let's start off with the first video where the topic of economic stress comes up.
Why Trump instead of Bernie Sanders?
What I look at is more progressives like the Bernie Sanders faction, stuff like that. We actually see a lot of the same problems.
And I would vote for a Bernie Sanders before I'd vote for like a Ted Cruz or a Marco Rubio.
Prices are just higher.
Oh, that's interesting, folks. Yeah, interesting.
Go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
I buy the same thing every time I go to the grocery store. I spend $102 at all this. I was just telling my uncle this.
Yeah.
I'm spending over $200 now.
Yeah.
So things are more expensive. I think people are more scared.
Our money doesn't have no value, and that's why we're having problems. This whole inflation thing, it's been building and building for multi-decades, and it's getting close now.
You work at McDonald's, right?
I do.
Do you feel like you're getting everything out of work that you're putting into it?
I believe I should get paid more. All I am doing is I'm working my ass off to get my money. I'm a hard worker, and I feel like I deserve more.
I work down in West Virginia.
These people should all go vote third party. Don't vote Democrat. Don't vote Republican, and see what happens. Wow, imagine if all both sides would all vote for the Green Party. I mean, if they could get on the ballot, that's the only thing. If they're allowed to go on the ballot, that's another thing. In the States.
Yeah, on the rigs for evil Big Red.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Halliburton, we were 2 weeks on, 1 week off, so you never got to go home. We were the lowest paid of all the workers out there. I only made $13.50 when I got hired on.
For Halliburton.
For Halliburton, yep.
A lot more to get to, but I do find it interesting that when a reporter shows up at a rally to see if there's potentially any common ground, meaning maybe I'm going to ask some good faith questions and see if there's any areas of agreement. you get completely different answers compared to, some of the legacy media outlets and the type of questions they ask. It's almost like they seek out some of the unhinged stuff.
So
Oh, really? You guys do the same thing too, though, don't you? Oh my God.
look, I think you're going to get a lot of both if you go to a Trump rally. And we've been to many Trump rallies, and you get a lot of both, okay? You get the guys saying unhinged things, and yes, sometimes you get this. And by the way, this is more perfect union. They're in favor of unions. They're in favor of the working class. They're definitely progressive. They're going to reach out to MAGA guys. Now, what do we tell you guys? What have I been saying for all these years? And it's in my book too. And I wrote that portion 4 years ago. Okay, so yes, for me, my personal opinion is half of the Republican voters are unreachable, and they're in the culture wars. They're in this. They're in that, and you can't reach them. The other half are pissed just like us for the same exact reasons.
Other half are reachable. No, 30% of them are the MAGA crowd. You can't reach those. Maybe you could reach the 10% of that. See, 10% of the MAGA crowd is like reasonable. It's like these people they talk to. But the rest of the MAGA crowd is unreachable at all. Anyways.
But have they been misdirected? Of course they've been misdirected. So Trump's a con man, and therefore, unfortunately, he saw the discontent in the country, and like a lot of good con men, he was like, oh, they're mad. I can tell them I'm going to fix it, and then I won't. I'll just get them to help me. And that's Trump. And so I feel bad, and I want to direct them in the right way, right? But saying like that they're irredeemable or that we're hopelessly divided, we can't ever come together on anything is terrible. It's wrong. Because look, guys, it's possible to do both. Nobody fights harder than we do, right? You see it every day. So I'm not saying you
redeemable, but 10%, only 10% you could get are reachable, or 20% of them, I think. Of all the Republican, probably 20%, 30% is reachable. But to me, it's not about the MAGA crowd. It's about the independence and the base. If you want to really win, and if you want to change, big change, you make a grassroots. You get some of the MAGA crowd, but it's not basically. You get a few of the MAGA crowd, and along with the middle class and your base. You have to make sure you get your base to make a real grassroots thing, movements. But on the way, you can't. The thing is, what you're doing though, you can't give up your core values. That's the thing. That's what you guys are giving up, your core values as TYT, as progressives. You're so-called progressives. You're giving up your core values. That's the thing. So you could get mega crowd is matters, I guess, but it's not about all the mega crowd. It's about your base. So your base is getting frustrated. You understand that? I mean, it's not gonna work if you don't get your base. You just want to forget your base, maybe. Maybe it's about the middle, just the middle and the magas, I guess. Mr. Cenk Uger.
give up on social issues. I'm not saying you give in to them on social issues. I fight them on that stuff day in and day out. But if they agree with us,
You're fighting them the wrong way, though. That's the problem. Some stuff you fight, you should fight for it. But other stuff it doesn't matter. You give into it. You make it a big deal. And you go the other way. You agree with them on the certain ticky-tack stuff. And some stuff you know what I mean? There's nuance. If you don't agree with them, and when it's nuance, when it's really nuance, it matters. When it's saying just like trans sports, it's nothing, but you agree with them on that. The Nothing Burger. I mean,
us on higher wages. Why wouldn't we take yes for an answer? If they agree with us on paid family leave, which they do, if they agree with us on raising taxes on the rich, which they do, take yes for an answer. But no one else in media is incentivized to bring people together.
I mean, I can understand why.
no one else? Oh my God, you crazy. No one else? You mean the mainstream media you're talking about? Of course, the corporate media doesn't. They like to do both sidism, and they always like to do this and that. And they've divided America. But there's certain, especially on the left, there's other groups, other media on the left that are trying to do RBN and do dissidents. There's not all other, there's media, there's another one I just watched. I forgot the name of the damn show. They're trying to do work, it's about workers, working class people. And they talk about union stuff. And I was watching all these, and they have certain people on the left on. And you have certain, but they have but they do have Republicans on their shows. Even on, what's her name? Brianna Joy Hill, I think. What's her name? Brianna Joy Gray, black woman. She has a Bad Faith podcast, and she debates Republicans. She talks to the other side. And you guys, TYT, disparage her and saying this and that. She's soft on the Republicans, you're right. But at least she talks to the other side. And you guys disparage them, kind of. Now you're doing the same thing, what she's doing.
I can understand why. I mean, think about how this very segment is going to be treated, right?
Mm-hmm.
As if, oh no, this is TYT providing cover for racism and xenophobia and bigotry and transphobia. No, that's not what this is at all. Okay, it's about what you choose.
Oh, not in this file, not in this one, but you did some other videos you did. There's some of the MAGA. There's another MAGA. There's another MAGA video you guys did, and you kind of did cover. Or you did, anyways. You defended this guy. Anna, you defended this guy with another video, and Cenk was on the other side. Cenk was right. You defended him. He's saying all this about immigrants and this and that, and he's talking about immigrants are terrible and the border, and he's saying, Cenk was saying it's terrible. This guy is terrible. He called this guy out. He called him a racist. We're assuming that. You were defending him. He said Cenk was putting words in his mouth. Like he was saying like code words. Like dog whistle stuff. And obviously, and you say, no, he can't put words in his mouth. You say one, you defended, you doing cover for these people, Miss Anna Kasparian.
Choose to emphasize when you talk to people on the other side, right? Do you choose to scold them and just make broad generalizations about them because of who they choose to vote for? And
scolding, woke scolding, that's called, I guess. But you guys scold people too.
Again, I've said this a billion times before. Is there some contingent of the Trump supporters who unfortunately believe terrible things that happen to be discriminatory, hateful, bigoted? Yes. Do I think that's true of all of them? I do not. So the question is...
There's some. Might be the other way around. I think it's mostly some that are... I think there's some that are sane. Like some are reasonable, but most of them, they go for this stuff. I'm sorry to say, Anna. But you know that already. You're just trying to do cover in a way. You're saying some are like this, and most of them are like crazy. No, most of them are like fine. Now some of them are not crazy. But I think it's you're trying to do cover for them. They are doing cover for them right now. You're saying some are bigoted and blah, and then most of them are like these people you're talking to? I don't think so. I think you find most of them are more. By the way, it's only 30% of the Republicans are like this, I think. But among the MAGA, most of them are like terrible. I'm sorry. But 10 or 20% are reasonable. So those you might try to convince. But now you're trying to do cover for them. You're saying that only about a few couple of them are like bad. Okay.
What can we do to change our strategy to build broad coalitions, not just with, reasonable Republicans, but also with independents, also with, establishment Democrats or those who have bought into what establishment Democrats are selling? How do we build the coalitions necessary to improve the lives of everyone in the country? How do we do that?
The establishment Democrats. No, that's an interesting thing. You really think that? You see some on the left who say that you can't deal with establishment Democrats. You can deal with more leftists, or maybe from the conservative, or maybe even MAGA. But establishment Democrats are going to be more in the end go to vote for Democrats, most likely. So you just may be wasting your time there, even that.
Yeah. And look, we've had 6 years straight of endless scolding.
It was about giving into their policies. Really. Oh, these guys are just
scolding. It hasn't worked. So what do you guys want? Do you guys want to keep doing the scolding? Because everything is getting worse.
You're the one doing the scolding too. You can blame yourself for that too. You guys are doing the scolding. You're the one that's doing the scolding. You're the same one that's doing the scolding. You don't do, I was going to say,
As we continue with the same failed loser strategy of just lashing out on people and calling them every terrible name you can imagine.
Look,
but they're all terrible though. We call out the ones that are terrible. That's what I mean. We call out the ones that are terrible, and that's basically the mainstream media does that. If you look at others on the left, on the left wing, on the online media, I think there are people that try to find common ground in certain things. They might agree with the white, and they might agree with the other side. But you find that more like NBC, MSNBC. You find that in other outlets. And the thing is, what I mean by scolding is giving into propaganda. Propaganda, and doesn't mean giving up minority rights. That's the other thing. I mean by scolding.
my hope is that we can build an outsider coalition. Outsiders versus insiders instead of Republicans versus Democrats.
You guys just grifters anyways.
So Republicans versus Democrats is a fake game anyway. They're on the same goddamn team. And they all get the same donor money.
Well, you realize that now, huh?
And here, I'm going to give you an example from the Democratic side in a second. And then look at corporate media, which is a combination of mainstream media and right-wing media. Things like Fox News. And what do? They all agree on economic issues. They all think we shouldn't have student debt relief. Every single cable news outlet thinks that. They all think we shouldn't have universal health care coverage. They all think that we shouldn't have a higher minimum wage, etc. When you ask actual Republicans and actual Democrats, they say, of course we should have a higher minimum wage. That's why higher minimum wage wins every time it's on a ballot. And it doesn't win with just Democratic voters. It wins with Republicans. It wins with independents. But now let's look at the Democrats. I've asked every Democratic politician who will talk to me, which is now a dwindling number. It used to be dozens, right? But I say, can you please, for God's sake, Fight for higher minimum wage. Not just, oh, I proposed it. Oh, Biden and Schumer took it out. Oh, I guess we can't do anything. No, fight for it. Fight for it. And show people you're fighting for it. Show them. And they'll come to your side. I can't get a single Democrat to do it. They're all like, oh, no, I'm doing culture wars. I'm doing something else. I'm on Twitter. Why don't you fight for us, you
That's the Democrats.
idiots?
Because they don't want
And
to.
you know what's going to
That's
happen?
not what they want to do, Cenk. That's not what they don't.
That's why they don't. A lot of people are fed up with the Democrats, and they want to go third party, and they don't want to vote for your Marianne Williams in the primary, and or RFK or Biden. And screw you guys. You want to go that route. So-called progressive Marianne Williamson, who's corrupt. I mean, the grifter. No one wants to go to do that. Everybody wants to go now third party, like people on the left now. Kanye West, they don't want to. I mean, they're tired of the Democrats, like the real left. They're tired of the Democrats.
There is a reason why both parties endlessly lean into the culture wars. Okay? And that's not to say, I'm not saying that because we shouldn't fight the bad policies that further marginalize people who are already marginalized. But I just think what.
We shouldn't fight, but we shouldn't. We're gonna abandon them. With TYT, we're gonna abandon them, kind of. We're gonna still fight, but now we're gonna be not as aggressive as we used to be. Yeah, we're not gonna fight propaganda. I'm gonna promote propaganda. We're not gonna fight advocate for the homeless. We're gonna lock them up. We're gonna, not gonna point out police brutality as much.
When you have corporate interests, moneyed interests, legally bribing, because it's now baked into our system, both parties to essentially continue deregulating, continue cutting taxes, continue redistributing wealth from the bottom to the top, well, what are they going to campaign on? How are they going to sell themselves to the electorate? They're just going to lean into culture wars, which by the very nature of them is divisive because
which you guys been suckered into it. You guys yourself deal with the culture wars. And sometimes it doesn't really matter. Like little things like what do you call it? Birthing persons, cisgender even. I mean pronouns. I mean you're obsessed with pronouns and other foolishness. It doesn't matter. Other things do with the kids affirming themselves. The little kids. That's a nuanced issue. I understand that one, but like pronouns and something, I mean, making a big deal with that. I mean, like I don't know, these guys are, oh my Lord.
It has to do with specific identities and pitting those specific identities against other identities. They are playing all of us, and they've been doing it for a while now. So my question to you is, what do we do to respond to it? Do we keep?
I guess you're showing every night on making takes on that every night. Fox News does that. I guess that plays into it too. I guess, which you guys do.
Going in the same direction with a failed strategy, or do we find a way to build coalitions? That's what I want to do. I want to build coalitions. I want to build labor power, and I want to build coalitions so there's actually outside pressure that points to these members of Congress and says, listen to me, you guys have to represent us. We are organized, and if you don't represent our best interests.
See, that's what you guys should have done before, maybe. Instead of trying to so-called elect Justice Democrats. It would be better if you go to the outside pressure, even go in the third. That means, see, outside pressure means also maybe going to the third party route. Why not that? Screw the two duopolies. Why not go to the third party? That means that too. And it doesn't mean just the Democratic Party putting pressure on them.
There will be consequences, and those consequences are political, of course, but right now they're not afraid of us because we're too busy fighting each other.
Yeah, it's still the Democrats. That means you're relying on the Democrats. And it's gonna be a it's gonna be a failure. You're trying to put pressure on the Democrats, but they might even care if they lose the election. They don't care. Trust me. Well, they care now because Trump, he might end the democracy. But if it's a regular Democrat, see, that's why they want Trump to lose. The Fox News and that, because they want a guy like DeSantis to come in, and if DeSantis beats Biden, and then the whole cycle remains, the whole system remains the same. They don't care if they lose once, because they don't want DeSantis in democracy, so they lose, and then maybe the next year, like a cycle, then the next time, or maybe another 8 years, then the Democrats come in. They could do all the same policies, the neoliberal policies. Both parties do. So it's like a game, it's like a trick. But the third party now is another the derailment in their plans, to derail their plans. But
So congratulations on that failed strategy. That's the only direction we've been going in.
Patrick McDavid is on the right. I went on his podcast the other day, and what do people always say?
McDavid. Why not go on the left wing's content creator, Cenk? Why not? The ones you hate the so-called left. Why not go on these other left wing and debate them?
Oh, you can't get the right wing to agree with anything. They're so crazy. They're nuts. All of them. Now, look, I've attacked the right wing.
He's a right wing. He's a right wing. Patrick McDavid. He's a right wing oligarchy. He's a terrible right winger. I shouldn't say oligarchy, but he's a terrible. He believes in fiscal. He doesn't believe in progressivism. He's a conservative Republican. He's like he believes in Reaganomics, trickle-down economics, and believes the richer. He's what do you call? He's kind of like an oligarchy. He believes in the oligarchy.
Probably more than anybody in media. And when I went on a show, I ripped Donald Trump, and his audience was furious with me. Then I said, look, here's all the things we disagree on, and
he's a Trump supporter. See, how do you make a sensible guy like that? He supports Trump, because Trump's not gonna do anything. Trump's gonna lower his taxes. That's why. So guys like him, they don't care about working class. Come on, Cenk. You think he's gonna agree with? So he agree with you on family leave. But he doesn't really. Yeah, it was more like a clown show to me. I watched that whole thing.
You can see I'm breathing fire on the things we disagree on. Now, what do you think about paid family leave? And I explained what it was. You know what percentage of their audience agreed after that? From a guy they don't like at all, 75% agreed. It's so easy. It's so easy. We all agree. But we can't find one stupid politician to fight for us.
Because not a single one of them is afraid of the electorate. That's the truth. Let's go to one more video. Let's watch.
Global corporations, they have, the Goldilocks question. Too much, just enough, or too little power? Where would you
I feel like their only thought is more money.
Right.
More power. That's all you care. Whoever has the most money.
Obviously, it's too much.
Yep.
When you have a company like BlackRock that's worth $9 trillion,
And Vanguard's
$8 trillion. Obviously, I'm not going to argue. There's a problem with that.
Do you think that?
You got any picks for tonight?
Taking the Raps to cover.
Really?
Okay, well, if you're right about that bet, I'll...
Jesus.
The finance sector.
Yeah.
Does it have too much power, just the right amount of power, not enough power?
Way too much power.
The financial sector.
100%. Yes. These people really, a lot of these people they don't realize are unelected officials. So all these politicians have this plan for how they're going to fix the economy, but then they just get in there, they don't do anything, and they're funded by the people, and those people are not elected, and they control the people that are elected.
It is incredible how aware they are of what's going on, right?
Yeah, no, guys, look, again, we've been to thousands of Trump rallies. You'll talk to people that have no earthly idea what's going on. And then sometimes you'll run into people that know exactly what's going on. But they're so frustrated, and the Democrats don't help them at all, that they're like, I'm going with a wild card, right? And some of them in that video explain, like, yeah, no, we know Trump's not the best guy, right? But at least he's
yeah, even some of them used to be Obama voters at one time, probably. So, I understand that.
Like, saying things that we agree with, and so I'm going to get to that disaster scenario in a second, by the way. But look, 3/4 of Americans say that big business has too much power. Now they mentioned private equity there. They mentioned there's two guys that knew exactly what they were talking about. That guy you saw there, and then the guy in the white hair with the eagle shirt. If you watch the whole video, we'll put the link in the description box. More Perfect Union did a brilliant job with it, and thank you for reaching out to all workers and not just workers on your side. Right? That's how you build coalitions. That's how you win. Anyway, let me read you these stats so you get a sense of it. A Vox Data for Progress poll in 2021 found 71% support for raising the taxes of the wealthiest 2% of Americans, while a Reuters poll from 2020 found 64% support a wealth tax, a slight increase from 2019 Brookings poll that found 61% support for taxing the rich. In my book, Justice is Coming, we'll put the link down below for that too, I show you a poll where it's at 76% that says, tax the rich, tax the rich. And in fact, the Vox poll from last year showed 50% support for taxing the rich among Republicans. But does any Democrat take advantage of that? No, because they don't want to take advantage of that ability to go get those voters, because their donors told them, don't. We're not going to help anyone. We're going to crush them and crush them and crush them. Now, here's the disaster scenario if you're a Democrat. At some point, Trump, I'm afraid to say it out loud, he might figure out that all he has to do is pretend on two of these issues. Say he's for a higher minimum wage, say he's for paid family leave, and he'll win in a cakewalk. In a total and utter cakewalk.
I mean, you think he doesn't know that? That's what he did. I mean, he didn't mention paid family leave. I don't remember him doing so. But in
Yeah, he doesn't. I don't think he believes in that. It's hard to say. I don't think he might say he might use paid family leave, but he doesn't believe in minimum wage. I don't think he would say that, because he's doing on a so-called pro-business thing. Look at some of his rallies. He might, you know what I mean? So they'll be we think he would contradict himself. That means you're saying.
2016, what do you think resonated with the voters? What did he lean into when he was campaigning?
No, he did one thing but not the other. So he actually did 2 out of 3 things. So one was, he said he was anti-corruption. He doesn't believe a word of it, right?
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
And he was, and I, again, read the part of my book about Sheldon Adelson and how easily he bribed Donald Trump and all the things that Trump gave him for those bribes, okay? They're called campaign contributions. Anyway, thanks for watching The Young Turks. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, so that's it, folks. They cut the... That's it, folks. What do you say about TYT now? They're attacking the left? They're attacking the left again. Yep, they're attacking the left, saying that the left would never do this. But the left has been doing this. Like I said, on the Hill, she brings on her show, Bad Faith Podcast, she brings on the other side. She debates people. She talks to Republicans. And they do it on the Hill too. They talk to, they talk to both sides. They're trying to be like a populist. On the Hill, they're trying to be a populist. It's supposed to be a populist show, but it's more like Republicans on that. I mean, and just like in Breaking Point, they do like populist things. Breaking Point with Zaga and Crystal, they do populist. They talk about things like this with the other side. See, they would do something like that. You see, but these guys, you see something like that. They point out something like that, and they wouldn't attack the other leftists. Oh, the left is not going to do that. I mean, even Kalinske would they reach out to the other side, and you guys are finally doing this. I mean, these guys, you used to do that. You have debates, but I know, but you have debates, and you know what I mean. But rarely you would actually attack people on the other side. You say one, Mr. Cenk. Now you're saying the left is gonna be a bit mad about. No, they've been doing that. I mean, there's people on the shows on the left that do this. And Jimmy Dore's doing this, but he's not on the. I wouldn't say he's on the left, but he's doing that. But talking to the Proud Boys is not. But Glenn Greenwald, he goes on. He's more of a libertarian, but he talks to the other side. I mean, they're trying to reach out. You know what I mean? Independent Democrats, they're trying to reach to. I don't know. They might just end up voting Democrat in the end. But again, they cut this video off, but there's more stuff. There's more hyperbolic stuff. See, they cut the video. So I'm pretty sure. I saw the original take segment. He essentially goes on attacking the left more. So they cut the damn video off, these guys. They're smart. They edited it. So that part, he gets more riled up against the left. So I think they cut it there. Oh my God, that would have ripped. They would have ripped to shreds. They would have ripped to shreds, buddy. You've been ripped to shreds. So they cut that part off. Pretty sure. Anyways, folks, that's it for this, I guess. So you guys are just attacking the left, your own base, I guess. Once again, it doesn't mean you don't agree with the other side, but it doesn't mean you go on to reach out. Doesn't mean you abandon your core values, or abandon your own abandon some of your community. You don't abandon your community. Like marginalized people, you don't abandon them. They're crushed by the system. That doesn't mean, going to the middle doesn't mean doing that. I mean, you're a so-called champion for the trans people, but I'm not gonna go into that. I mean, they should have right. I guess they should have some kind of rights, right? But you don't abandon them. You abandon certain aspects of that, I guess. And propaganda and what you're doing to black people. I mean, that's really you can't abandon black people in a way. Doing more propaganda, saying crimes on the right. Oh, I just looked it up. Violent crime is on the rise, but crime itself is going down. To that propaganda. I was gonna do a propaganda video, and I didn't. The one with she does the store theft with organized crime, and she's doing propaganda with organized crime with people stealing stuff in the stores, all organized. organized gangs doing that. But she's doing a propaganda. There should be more cops. So there should be an investigation, and the federal government should do like a war on drugs kind of thing, like the DA, like the DEA does, like certain investigation into this. It should be like a all new bureaucracy dealing with these gangs. They do steal, like petty theft, going into stores and stealing stuff, stealing goods, whatever. All type of propaganda. And I want to put more monies in the Washington thing about the cops. We should hire more cops. All types of propaganda these guys do. And sure, they want the black people. They want cops. They want more cops, but they don't want being harassment with cops. And these people, certain people want the cops. Who these people are calling for more cops? Is it just the elites, bourgeois, black bourgeois, or the actual people on the ground who want these? I mean, more police. Or just these politicians, corrupt black politicians who like use cops, use them as a scapegoat. I mean, they won't do nothing. I mean, they're corrupt anyways. And then most of them, a lot of these defend the cops too, the so-called black mayors. And that's another story, folks. This video's gone too long. But he cut off the part where they go into the left. He attacks the left more, but they cut that part off. So that's too bad. So I had to lean on to. I would have damaged them with that. I would have. Anyways, folks, that's it for this. Attacking the left again, TYT. Man, hope you don't you leave your base, brother. And I hope that's another story. But anyway, that's it for this video.